Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Kata and I'm talking today about the upcoming solar eclipse as well as new moon that we're going to be having in the sign of Aries. And this is also the second new moon of this month, which is a very rare occurrence. We don't usually have two in a month. We usually have one new moon, one full moon, sometimes two full moons, but having two new moons actually in the same sign is really what is the kicker. That's what makes this eclipse and this new moon so interesting, because if you remember, we had a new moon also on April the 7th, I believe, and that was at like the beginning degrees of Aries, where this one is now at 29 degrees of Aries, which is the end degree point. So over the last week and over the weekend, I could really sense this shifting energy and how this eclipse is really influencing my life. I've been getting a lot of insight into the things that need to change. It's like the veil has fallen off certain things. So now I think we've all come to a choice point, and that's really what this message is about today. So we've all arrived at a choice point, because if you're here and alive on this planet today, then you know, you're a part of this energy just as much as I am and every other person on this planet. So what is this choice point really about though for us? I kept seeing and I keep visualizing sort of this portal, this energy portal, this doorway actually, that it is time for us to move through. And I had to be, you know, really, really honest with myself, and had to come to some pretty deep conclusions within myself over the weekend to help me reconcile what I'm becoming aware of and help me to move forward in this new direction that I'm choosing. And the reason why I say it's a choice point is because I feel like the universe is placing all of us at a threshold. There's this threshold we're all standing on. And the threshold is like, it's like that moment right before you're about to step into your like new life, right before you're about to take that step through that door, through that portal. And the question is right now with this eclipse being in Aries and having two new moons in Aries, Aries being the sign of the self, Aries having to do and having to connect with our individuality, our truth, our own perception, our own truth within ourselves. And it's asking us, you know, did you take some time between the last new moon and this new moon to really reevaluate and look at all of the areas in your life that need to change at this time, and that need like big change, dramatic change, not just little teeny tiny little, oh, maybe I'll do this, or maybe I'll do that. Like it has to be, there's this pull, there's this energy that I'm feeling, this draw to go and step over this threshold to surpass my own limitation, surpass my own break system, right? Like, and by break, I mean like, you know, every time, you know, that contraction that you feel every time that you want to like take a first step and like initiate something or do something, and then you just kind of go, and then you hold back a little bit because you feel uncertain, because you feel afraid of the unknown, because you are afraid that maybe you're not good enough, that maybe you're not going to be, maybe that you don't have all the tools that you need for like this next cycle. And it's always that kind of a feeling, and we always go through this contraction. And what I'm noticing for myself is I'm experiencing this contraction because it's unknown, because I'm not quite sure, like, do I have the right tools, you know, to get me where I want to go? And do I have the right tools right now for me to just be able to step through this portal and step through this energy and this new doorway and step into this new chapter? Like, do I have the tools within me? Am I equipped, you know, emotionally, mentally, spiritual, physically? And over this past weekend, what I was looking at is how I feel equipped in certain areas of my life, and then how I don't quite feel equipped in other areas of my life. And it was really interesting because the areas that I didn't quite feel equipped in, Spirit was just kind of showing me blatantly, okay, yeah, but what are you doing to like learn more about that? What are you doing to research, to discover, to gain new skills if you feel like you're missing some skills to step through this portal, right? And so as I was looking at my own, I guess lack of skills, or just skills where I feel like I'm lacking and I don't quite have all the tools or the appropriate tools. And for me, it's definitely technology. It's definitely certain things, you know, like video editing, and certain things that other people could be like really awesome at, and I'm not so great at it because I haven't done it before. And it was something that was always super intimidating, and it just didn't feel like, you know, I could do it. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, you know, I can do this, because every time I would learn something, I felt like some new update or some new something would come out and then would make me feel kind of obsolete again. So but now I recognize that it's like, if I want to move forward in a certain area of my life, if I want to really be able to take this new chapter and figure out what tools I may need for it, even though I don't quite know how it's going to unfold. I have an idea already, right, of the direction that I'm trying to move in, the direction I am actually moving in, not trying to, I am moving in. So because I already have a plan in place, and because I already have an idea, and I already have kind of somewhat figured out the steps of how I'm going to get there, now it's just really being super honest and real with myself about like, okay, well, do I need to take some classes or some online courses perhaps about how to do some of this stuff? Or do I need to just, you know, look around on YouTube and see what kind of information I can find that's free? And just not even the fact that it's free, but there's just such a variety of knowledge on YouTube, and then there's so many different perspectives and stuff I find people bring to the table. So it's never just one perspective, it's many different perspectives, and that's what I love about YouTube and learning through there. But there's just endless possibilities, right, for learning and for expansion. And I recognized, and I kind of wrote down all the things that I need to improve upon, and all the things that I need to now be willing to like dive in head first and learn. Even if I feel dumb, even if I feel like, you know, I don't know what I'm doing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all about this portal asking you to just take that step. Can you just have this faith within you and take the step forward into that new unknown territory? Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's unknown. Yes, it's something that you've never done before, perhaps. Yes, it's going to be something that's going to need you to expand your horizons, expand your vision for yourself, expand your dream and your future, right? Because this portal, I feel, is so much about us finally embodying that future version of ourselves that we actually all desire to be, right? We all have a dream for ourselves, I feel. And if you don't have one, then this is a really good time to definitely create one. And I don't know about you guys, but I daydream all the time. Like I constantly have like a little movie running through my head, and like a little fantasy of like, this is what I want my everyday to look like, and this is how I want to feel, and this is how I want to, you know, feel when I'm in a relationship, and this is how I want to feel when I'm working, and like just sort of romanticizing all these different things in my life, and seeing them from this higher, more beautiful, more ease and flow filled kind of life is what I'm really visualizing for myself. Because if you think about it, this threshold again is all about like leaving the past behind. It's all about closing that door. Are you willing to close the door to your past so that a new door can open for you, so that you can actually experience something different? And the only way that I'm recognizing that I can close the door to the past is to truly move on from everything that ties me to my past, to truly move on from all of those past experiences and really just see them as beautiful lessons and stepping stones to get me to where I am today. And I'm going to leave it there, and I'm just going to bless the past. I'm going to send love and gratitude for the past that I have experienced, because if I don't do that, if I'm not going to lovingly and willingly close that door, then I'm not going to be able to open up a new one, right? It really truly is a choice point. And this is a choice point for humanity, like as a whole. Like we all have an opportunity right now to choose to keep living in suffering, to keep living in lack mentality, to keep living in confusion and in darkness and in despair and in sadness and anger and loneliness and all these things? Or are we going to choose a better life? Are we going to choose the unknown, beautiful future that we get to write, that we get to decide what that looks like? And you get to decide now in this moment what it looks like for you, you know? So there's a lot to consider when it comes to these eclipses, and you know, astrologers talk about eclipse season all the time, but if you're not one that follows astrology and you're not really understanding the connection between certain signs and the degree points and like why you do certain things at certain times, then you're going to miss these opportunities to really be able to move your life forward in dramatically big ways. And I'm finding the biggest and most important lesson that Spirit has been teaching me is to surrender, is to just be willing to let go, to be willing to ride the wave of life, allow it as it comes, don't judge any part of it, and really see the opportunities that are at hand. Because I'm also recognizing that there's always opportunity around us. Always. We truly are, like, luck is really opportunity meets preparedness. So when we are prepared for that next chapter, when we're saying to ourselves, you know what, I'm going to go for it and I'm just going to do it and I'm just going to close my eyes, close my nose and jump, right? Like, I'm just going to dive into this head first and really be willing to go through the difficulty, and I'm going to be willing to go through perhaps even some suffering or some discomfort. I wouldn't say necessarily suffering, but definitely some discomfort, you know, to experience a new life, to do things I've never done before, to open myself up to new possibilities. Because stagnation is not an option. I mean, it is an option if you want to choose it, but it's not really an option. It's an option for people that don't want to grow. It's an option for people that don't want to change, that want to keep spinning in the same old story. You know, yeah, that's an option too. You can do that. Or you can choose something better, and you can choose the scary unknown and just see what it delivers and see how it pans out. Because what I'm finding is that the scary unknown actually always turns out so much fucking better than I expected. So it's like, I don't know why we have this, like, I don't know, probably our egos. It's like this human fear that we put into ourselves and convince ourselves that the new is like big and scary. It's not. It really isn't. It's just another step on this beautiful journey and path that we're all walking, right? So the more I can recognize that surrendering really means peace, that surrendering means that I'm willing to give up the control. Surrendering also means that I'm willing to just have that faith in Spirit and God to guide me, to show me the path, because we don't always know what the path is going to be, right? Unless we're shown. So, and we're always shown the path, right? It's just a matter of paying attention. So have you been paying attention? Have you been catching those little post signs, or like, you know, all the different signs along the way? Have you been making note of them and even really heeding the message? Because, you know, a lot of these signs show up for us, but we can again choose to ignore them, or we can choose to say, okay, thank you, Spirit, like, I got you, I hear you loud and clear, and I know what I need to do, right? We all get them. We all get these signs. It's all about whether you're tuned in or not and paying attention or not. So for this eclipse, what I'm going to recommend to you, because this is what I'm going to be doing myself, is to sit in meditation for a little time. Today, tomorrow, over this entire week, really. Spend some time in meditation and really listen to yourself, listen to your heart, and tune in to this energy and to this portal, and see what it's saying for you. What is it asking you to release? What is it asking you to let go of at this time? What is it asking you to leave in the past that you know belongs in the past? And this could be fear, bad habits, worries, stress, lack mentality, victim mentality, all of these things. What is within you that you can identify right now that you need to leave in the past? And the more that I look at this, the more it was just like different things popping up, but like 3 or 4 different things popped up from me personally that I felt like, yes, okay, these are things that I'm going to leave in the past and that I'm just going to move away from, and I'm going to stop perpetually feeling these things, and I'm going to stop perpetually being addicted to feeling those things. And for me, like, just kind of like a blah feeling or maybe not being too happy is something that will come up, and that's something I want to leave behind. I just don't want to feel like that anymore. There's no reason for me to feel like that. If I recognize how much intention I can put behind everything that I do, and how much intention I can put behind my entire life and how it turns out, and how much control I actually have. I spoke about surrendering control, but it's like you can surrender control and actually have so much more control as a result of surrendering control, because there's ego control and then there's spirit control, right? So when spirit is not controlling, that's a strong word, but when spirit is guiding us, that's one thing to listen to. Where your ego is trying to guide you really is just trying to restrict you in so many different ways, and wants to prevent you from moving towards some of the things that you like. So the control is actually gained from surrendering and saying to spirit, you know what, I'm going to let you do the heavy lifting, and I'm just going to open up. Here I am, I'm your vessel, and just guide me. Guide me through feelings, guide me through certain thoughts, guide me through visions, guide me through my dreams, guide me through signs, through nature, guide me through number sequences, like whatever and to whenever. You just guide me, spirit, and I will pay attention, and I will look out for those signs, and I will look up those signs when they show up for me, especially if they're repeatedly showing up for me. Then I'm just gonna look into it and see what the spiritual meaning of that thing is, so that I can continue to be guided, and I will stay relaxed and present and aware. So that's my message for this beautiful second Aries new moon for this month. And I wish you guys nothing but the best, and I wish you all the strength and the courage to really leave behind all of those past situations and heaviness and sorrow and sadness from your past that is really holding you back or pulling you back or preventing you from taking that step over this threshold and into the portal of this new moon energy for a brand new chapter and a brand new beginning. Thank you so much for watching, for tuning in, and I wish you guys pure awesomeness. Until next time, I'll see you again.